Hello friends, welcome back. In this video, we shall look at another enhancement of the Fortune Teller game, which is how do you make a clever wizard. Right now, once again, this is a bonus idea. So remember, bonus comes after basic. Well, so what do we mean by the clever wizard, right? So remember the Fortune Teller game itself. We have these wizards who's answering us questions, and wizards' answers, as we know, are stored in a list. Right? So we prepare this list, and now the question comes that can we somehow make our wizard a little bit more clever? So what do I mean by that? Well, perhaps it can answer questions in a way such that it does not repeat any answers that it may have given, for example, in the last three or say last five questions. So that's what I mean by a clever wizard. Again, we can do all this by using lists. So I'm going to show you briefly in this video how that can be done, right? So first thing first, let's try to understand the idea that we are going to do, and then we'll see the code for it, right? I'll develop the code for you. Basically, the idea is that we are going to create one more list. Say, let's say I want to make sure that last three answers are not repeated. So I say, call it, say, last three answers. I create a new list. Now, this is a list that wizard maintains. And before answering any question, the wizard checks this particular list, right? So if it finds the present answer is part of this list, then it just goes and picks a new answer. On the other hand, if it says that, okay, look, last three answers does not contain this list, then I can use this answer, but I must make sure that my present answer gets updated to this list of last three answers so that the list remains current and it keeps working fine. And at the same note, basically, I must make sure that the last three answers are indeed three. So which means that if there is the last three answer becomes more than three, then I go and delete the oldest of the last three answers. And remember, delete one is going to make sure that the oldest of the answers is deleted, right? So that's the whole idea. Now I'm going to show you the implementation with respect to the game that we developed in the class. So remember, this wizard right now is randomly picking up answers from this list that it has, and it's just answering you, right? So we are going to now make it a little bit more clever so that it doesn't keep on repeating, because sometimes it ends up repeating answers, right? So like I said, first thing first, we are going to create a new list. So I'm going to say variables, and I'm going to say make a list, right? So when I say make a list, I'll make it say last three answers, right? Now it could be last five answers, it could be whichever way you prefer, right? But I'll just create a list called last three answers, and like I do with all lists, when the game first starts, right? So which means that I say the clean up the blocks, and I say when the flag is clicked, oops, where is my when flag clicked? Here. So when flag clicked, I'll say delete all of last three answers, right? So I'll go say delete all of last three answers. Now this is important so that the game starts clean and fresh, right? There's a good habit. Lists, make sure you do that. Yeah. Now, basically, the idea was that this crystal ball is answering here, as you can see, picking up randomly from one to length of wizard answers, because wizard answers is a list that it has as its base, right? So I'm going to start modifying it here. And first thing first that I'll introduce is a variable here called answer number, right? Now this is the principle is I'll show you in just a moment also. But basically we're implementing the thought that we just discussed, right? So I'm going to call it, say, answer number, and so let's just call it ansnum, let's say, right? So I'll call it ansnum. Now what I will do is that I will, before getting on with answering the question, I'll just set this answer number to, let's say, pick a random number between 1 to length of wizard answers, right? So we run length to 1 to length of wizard answers. Now, so what this is doing is I'm randomly picking up this number, which is anywhere between basically 1 to length of wizard answers. So previously what's happening is I'm just taking this as the answer, and hence there is no check, right? But what I can do now is that I can make sure that I pick a number which is not part of the last three answers, right? So how do I do that? Well, I will use a repeat until block, and I'll tell you why I do that, right? So I will do, basically, I'll say in the control part, I'll go and say repeat until down here, say repeat until, yeah, the last three answers does not contain answer number, right? So I'll say repeat until an operator not. Now remember, repeat until works by making sure that this happens till this condition becomes true, right? So until this condition is false, it keep happening. Once this becomes true, it will stop happening, right? So repeat until not, which means that inversion of not of last three answers contains answer number, right? So I will go to the list and say last three answers contains, say last three contains, and this time it will be this variable ansnum, right? So repeat until last three answers not last three answer contains this number. And basically why I'm doing this is because if I do not have a repeat until, I do not know, I mean the wizard will keep picking up the same answer again and again. So repeat until gives me a compact way to do this. And then I basically do the same thing here again, right? So I'll just duplicate this line. Oops, right? So I will, let's say, set ans number to pick random 1 to length of wizard answer. So now this statement ensures that my ans number does not contain, is not contained inside this last three answers, right? Now, but I must update my last three answers. So what I must do is that I will add, let's say, ans num to last three answers. So I'll add this ans num to last three answers so that the list gets updated. And now I can say, let's say I can have this, and in fact I can just use the same code. I don't need to do this. What I will do is to use this variable now that I have it. So I'll use say item ans number of wizard answers for 2 seconds, because that's the answer I'm going to say. I will continue to add my question to the list of questions that I've list of questions that I'm asked, because that's for another purpose, as you know. And now I'm going to say that, look, my list of answers has probably become more than 3, because if the fourth question, for example, list will become more than 3. So what I will do is that I will just go and delete. So I'll put an if condition here, that if let's say then I can broadcast this. So I can say if length of last three answers. So let's say, there you go, length of last three answers is greater than 3, because I want to retain the three answers, the last three answers. So I say list of last three answers is say more than 3, then I go and delete 1 of last three answers. Now why do I delete 1? Because I want to delete the oldest answer, really, right? So I'll show you this thing, delete 1 of say last three answers, right? Now just see this before I make this code, let's say, run this for you. Okay, let's remove all this, clean up the blocks. Yeah, so before I run this, let me show you what I'm trying to do here in this in a small illustration. So basically, it's something like this, right? So let's say wizard answers are say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, absolutely, no way, perhaps, and so on and so forth. First question, the wizard answers absolutely. So I go and pick 1 and I just add this to the list, right? Now let's say next question comes, and now wizard again picks up 1. So I'll not do that. Now I repeat until make sure. I'll keep on picking up an answer till it's not found in this list, right? So it doesn't. So I say, for example, pick up again 3. I'll answer 3, which is perhaps, right? But I will make sure my list of last three answers has 1 and 3, right? Next, perhaps it picks, let's say, no way. So it's 1, 3, 2. But now when it comes to the fourth question, remember, I'll add this, my fourth answer to the, let's say the list of last three answers. But then I must delete the very first answer here, because that is like I'm only responsible for the last three answers. So last three answers were 3, 2, and 4, and hence list contains 3, 2, and 4. So that's the idea, and now we can see this working in the code. So for example, let's say I'll keep this here. Let's say I ask, so welcome to my magic room. All of that gives me 11 answers. So ask me yes or no question. So am I happy? Let's say this is my question. Wizard gives me answer number 11, which is do not make my crystal ball angry. Ask me one more question. So I say, am I sad? Right? Now notice the wizard will not give me the same answer again. Instead, this time it gives me 11. Right? Now answer yes or question. So am I a good person, for instance? Right? So if I did this, now again wizard will make sure if I just saw it just now picked up 10, but it rejected that because of the repeat until. So now it gave me an answer of 5, right? So now notice that my answers that have been given are 11, 10, and 5. So if I ask one more question, let's say, will it rain? Right? Now it'll pick up whatever answer it picked up 1, but it will now go and delete the very first answer, which was 11. So now it's 10, 5, 1, because it's keeping track of the last three answers, right? So will it be sunny? Let's say. If I ask this question, it's not going to answer 10, 5, 1. It answered 7, which is fine, but now it removed 10, right? So that's how this code will ensure that the last answer, the answer given will never be part of the last three answers, right? So I hope you found this useful. Like I said, enjoy the process. These lists can get a little bit overwhelming. Go slow. try to understand the basics before you attempt any of these bonus. Okay, so take care, enjoy process, and uh, yeah, enjoy coding. Thank you so much. Bye.